And in Swindon, there'll be no celebration because they're closing the works down. We weren't allowed to film there. But earlier this year, Peter Brown of BBC Bristol got a look in just before the closure was announced, and these are the works he found.
In the spring of 1985, 2,300 men and women still worked here. And in the week before the announcement of the shutdown, I was trying to find out what the spirit of the Great Western meant to them. My guide was a man who'd spent most of his working life here, Ted Jeffries.
Ted, you seem busy enough in here.
Yes, it's fairly busy in the machine shop.
What do you think the spirit of the Great Western, if it means anything at all, would mean in a place like this?
Well, they're proud of the job that they do. The standards that they'll reach. It's been bred in from father to son all the way down the line, and it's still here.
Would you have some second and third generation railwaymen working
there are
here?
many.
What do you think the spirit of the Great Western means to you?
It's something that's alive here and part of it. You can't really say, yes, it's that. It's something that visitors, when I bring them round, they feel it.
But you're sure it's there?
It's there.
Something in
it's
the
there,
air.
yeah.
As a boy, all Ted's ambitions centred on working inside.
I mean, was there a special sense of being a part in Swindon?
Oh, yes. For me, anyway, with a railway background but unable to get in at the start, I was all my life looking forward to the day when I started working the railway.
In today's meritocracy, the notion that able men should want nothing more than to spend a working life in railway workshops is hard to credit. But for Les Axby's generation, that's the way it was.
It was the only thing you expected out of life, really, that you were going to go inside, as it was known in Swindon in those days. You either worked inside, or there was very little else that you could work at, to be truthful. You either worked inside, and your dad worked inside, and if your father worked inside, well, then you were virtually expected to follow him.
In the spring of 1985, the rumours were circulating again. But there was a year's work for more than 2,000 people. Besides, it was the year of the 150th anniversary. Swindon had a central role in the celebrations. A great exhibition was planned. Not the time, surely, to announce the end. But the reports that closure was coming persisted in the days we were filming. What did the shop stewards in the foundry think?
The men are just thinking it's another close-down rumour. They're not really taking that seriously, so there's not a lot of action going on. A lot of them are thinking, great, it's closing down, we can get out. But there are a hell of a lot of people in here who want to stay in here.
There is a mixture of feelings. I mean, there are a lot of people, particularly the younger people, who want to keep the works open. The older ones getting on toward the 6-year mark are not too bothered about it. But then, you know, we would dearly love to see it stay open. We fought for it and we intend fighting and carry on fighting.
Everyone knew that the government's agreement to more capital investment by British Rail, particularly more diesel multiple units, was bound to mean less repair work for Swindon. The works manager, Harold Taylor, put the threat into context.
The railways have invested a considerable amount of money in new rolling stock, electrification, and of course, with that new rolling stock that'll run and make the railways, which they've got a duty to do for the public, is to run a more efficient system. That, by the very fact that it's all new, it's new rolling stock, it needs less maintenance. Unfortunately, from Swindon's point of view, that's the position that we find ourselves in.
Preparations for the exhibition went ahead. There was to be a great gathering of steam locomotives, visitors by the hundred from the United States, even from Japan. Ted Jeffries explained what would happen.
This will be emptied. It's on the point of evacuation now, where they're going to clear it out.
All these be cleared away?
Everything for this 150th anniversary. This is where they'll house all the steam engines, the railway armour bits, the
Yeah. And then
various
what will happen after that?
Well, when it's all over...
The exhibition?
They say they're going to take it away, but I think it'll be a crying shame to take it away, because it'll be a living museum.
It would be. You think it would be much better used in that way?
If they could keep it as a working museum, it's here forever.
Yeah.
Great Western in Swindon and live on.
4 days later, the announcement came. Dismissal notices would go out in October. The works would be shut by March 1986. British Rail's answer, an organisation called Swindon Holdings, designed to attract new jobs for the workshop men, though not to retrain them. It would take over the workshops with a BR man, Andrew Gray, in charge.
Swindon Holdings is set up to do two things. The first thing is to look at creating new jobs for the people who unfortunately are going to be put out of work here at Swindon. And the second thing it's trying to do is to develop this site that we're now standing on. Here at Swindon, land, this type of land, would be very, very attractive to us commercially. And up to 18 months ago, that's what we would have done. We'd have declared this land non-operational, and we would have disposed of it in the best corporate interest. Now what we're saying, no. We as Swindon Holdings are going to administer this land with the prime purpose of attempting to create as many new jobs on this site and in the area as we possibly can.
You'll see that on the film, the young lad turning the motor bearing. Well, I trust him to do anything at all. He's got all the skills that any lad could ever want. But I'm afraid as it is now, with the closing of the works, I just don't know where he can sell those skills. Does he have to get on his bike, as Mr. Tevitt says? Because around here, there won't be any heavy engineering at all.
The problem with this government and most other governments is they don't take us as a, you know, our own personal lives and look at communities. They look at it as a statistic rather than, you know, us in this sort of town.
What have you been learning in the past 3.5 years you've had of your apprenticeship, have you?
Yeah, I've been a coach builder.
Is that going to be any good now that the works will close?
No, not in this town. Definitely probably not in the West either, in the West of England. There's no firms around.
I never believed it'd happen. I mean, they've been saying it since late 72, haven't they? I never thought it'd shut down like this.
So what are you going to do now?
Just sit and hope that there's some jobs come up for coppersmiths.
I mean, it is a good, sound, solid apprenticeship. I mean, anybody who's been through the works can tell you that. It's a good basis for life, really, the apprenticeship you're getting here. But it's been wasted to the extent that we'd never be able to use it again. It's a waste. Most of the other blokes in this factory, the trades that never be passed down from generation to generation ever again. That's the sick thing about it.
With nothing left for Swindon to celebrate, plans for the exhibition were abandoned.
We and Swindon have reached the end of the line.